The only difference between me and the madman is that I am not mad. This is what my favorite artist said. The man, one of the most splendid artists in the world, was my first inspiration to think about being an artist. When I was a middle school student, my school teacher showed me a piece of painting. The artwork was very abstract, so I didn't even understand what the artist wants to imply through the work. However, it was enough to wrap my feeling absolutely shattered. Always, shape of watch has to be geometric for me. But there were melting clouds drawn. The imagination and expressiveness were simply a shock. Even though it was a brief moment, the impact was huge. The day stamped on my memory. After that, I researched about the painting and the artist. From the day, the artist became my favorite, and I have always dreamed of being an artist like him. This is the piece which shocked me. It was painted by Salvador Dali in 1931, oil on canvas. To be informed about this artist adequately, let me show his works and life. Briefly, Salvador Dali was born in May 11, 1904 in Catalonia, Spain. He was training at San Fernando School of Fine Art in Madrid, 1922. He worked in many fields such as painting, drawing, photography, sculpture, and fillet. Dali left behind remarkable achievements in those fields. To know about an artist's early life, which is a childhood, is an important task for the students, those who want to study art essentially, because the artist's childhood always influences their works a lot. Dali was a passionate and an arrogant artist who was full of madness, and he is also famous of his striking dress and behavior. There are several things to discuss about what makes him like that, show sign of paranoia. First, Dali's older brother represents much to his life and works. Actually, Dali's name was from his brother. 1903, his older brother Salvador died at the age of 7 from an attack of meningitis. And after a year, Dali was born. However, his parents still couldn't get out of the grief for their lost child yet. So, they regarded Dali as a reincarnation of his brother. This profound sadness experienced by their parents was later translated in an unusual, intense, and permissive dedication towards the new child Dali. Dali's stepbrother's picture on the wall, remaining room and toys, and the gravestone which is inscribed Dali's name, those all throw a young boy into a chaos. Even though in the unstable environment, Dali's artistic abilities were rebuilt. He began to paint when he was 6 years old, and he was already an expert at painting landscape at 10. In spite of his natural talent, Dali's parents still think of their dead kid and compare him with Dali. The comparison between non-existent brother and Dali had destroyed the sensitive and young boy. Because of this, Dali struggled to escape from his brother's shadow while he was growing up. As he stated, Dali had tried to prove existence of himself, who is not a substitution of his brother. To accomplish this purpose, Dali behaved extraordinarily. For example, he sprayed a ghost perfume made by him, wore diving suit, and baked 40 meters length spread. All that sort of bizarre actions gave him wings of imagination, which was translated into his works, not only a reputation of a mystery man. The representative examples are limp watch, Venus with secret compartment, beard Mona Lisa. To take a look more closely, let me introduce about his works. Dali had worked a lot of movements such as Cubism, Dada, and Surrealism. Among those, I believe Dali is one of the most influential artists in Surrealism. As I previously showed, Dali's life itself was just a surrealism. So who can be more surrealistic than him? Surrealism is a cultural movement began in early 1920s. Throughout the 1930s, Surrealism continued to become more visible to the public at large. Dali and Magritte created the most widely recognized images of the movement. Dali joined the Surrealist group in 1929, and in 1931, Dali painted one of his most famous works, The Persistence of Memory, which introduced a surrealistic imagery of soft melting pocket watches. The melting watches are one symbol that is commonly associated with Salvador Dali's surrealism. They are literally meant to show the irrelevance of time. When Dali was alone with Gala, his wife, he felt that time had little, perhaps no significance for him. His days were spent eating, painting, making love, and anything else he wanted to do. One hot August afternoon in 1931, as Dali sat at his work bench nibbling at his lunch, he suddenly came up with hallucination. He was taking a pencil and sliding it under a bit of camembert cheese, which had become softer and runnier than usual in the summer heat. Dali was inspired with the idea for the melting watches. Above this, Dali painted a bunch of surrealistic pieces. This is another famous example, which is called Sleep, painted by Dali in 1937. Sleep is virtually a visual rendering of the body's collapsing into sleep, as if it was a collapsing into a separate condition of being, against the deep blue summer sky. A huge disembodied head with eyes dissolved in sleep hangs suspended over an almost bare landscape. Like this, Dali's works created by his noble imagination, getting inspiration from every day of his life. In other words, he was not a madman, just an imaginative person. To conclude my speech, Salvador Dali, who is my favorite artist, had made great achievements in many fields. As he worked on many trends, he got inspirations from many things. Everything around him stimulates his imagination, and he translated that into the paper. Even though someone called him a madman, he was a genius. I believe Salvador Dali is genius of surrealism. Who can be more surrealistic than Dali, who lived surrealistically? Dali himself was just a surrealism. I hope that you guys have learned much about Salvador Dali so that you can be able to know about his respectful works, striking life, and how they relate to each other. Thank you.